Hello, welcome to our new show where we're going to be reviewing video game movies and asking the question: are video game movies good? Actually, this is our first episode, not the first one we recorded, but the first one you're going to see. And we thought we'll be our usual topical, but a week late. And are discussing, or maybe even 2 weeks late, and are discussing...
Yeah, it's 2 weeks late,
Yeah, the new Mortal Kombat film today.
Yeah.
I prefer Babylon 5.
That's a great in-joke.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
It is. It's all right. Yeah.
It's weird.
We're gonna book the series as well. So we're gonna do MK21 this episode, and the final episode of this series
is going to be the Anderson.
The 90s.
Yeah,
the Anderson one.
So
we got two of his films.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we have got two.
Yeah, this could also be considered a mini Anderson series, not Wes.
Could we throw another one in?
No.
Has he done another video
Actually,
game?
did well, yeah, he's done plenty of Resident Evil films.
Well, yeah. He's done.
Didn't he?
Monster Hunter recently.
Oh yeah, he has. I'm strangely okay not watching Monster Hunter.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't really want to watch it.
It looks like a nice slice of American military propaganda put in a genre that makes you wonder, why is it here? Why is this film about this?
I mean, essentially all he does is just make films for his wife now.
Which, no problem with that. That's a noble endeavour. If
it makes them both a bit of money and they enjoy it, then
I think we touched on it off camera the other day. Anderson and Wiseman, the ultimate movie directing wife guys.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's others as well. Like one of the Coens is married to Frances McDormand.
Joel.
Yeah.
Who I discovered is they're making Macbeth. Which, I'm all for that. But again, we're on the tangent here. We're here to discuss Mortal Kombat.
We're on a massive tangent. We're filming this quite late at night as well. For us.
So we might
this in the morning.
There might be a level of sleep depravity to.
Yeah, because we're not necessarily nocturnal creatures, not anymore. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think there's also, I think the cast was pretty spot on. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't have an issue.
There's a new character original to the film.
Which one was that?
The main one, Cole, the MMA fighter who is the son of Scorpion. Oh well, the ancestor of Scorpion. Yeah, he's an original character for the film.
Okay. Because I mean, this does focus on the core characters that probably have been in the game for a very long time. Like some of the more famous ones.
You don't have Johnny Cage. That was a hint for the sequel.
Yes, yeah. Who there's potentially it's going to be the Miz. Of wrestling.
Is there a better choice? I can't think of one.
No. I know there's a certain fan base that's pushing for Ryan Reynolds. But I don't think, as much as he might be great as a little jokey thing, or like he'd be fantastic to play.
Ryan Reynolds is already too many people.
He is, and I think that's the thing.
And he's also just Ryan Reynolds. Like, I wouldn't be watching it thinking like. He's one of those actors who I've got to a point now where I see Ryan Reynolds and I just see Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, because I mean, to be honest, that's all he's paid to do.
Which is again isn't a problem.
No, I mean The Rock does the same thing.
Yeah, I know what I'm getting, and I know what I want with a Ryan Reynolds project.
So, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I necessarily need to see him play Johnny Cage.
No,
but the Miz, because the day that it got released, obviously he'd seen the film. He had a mock-up of him as Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
That he put on Twitter, and then I think it was maybe the director of this film retweeted him or something like that. So,
like, I'm even like, again, we're on a slight tangent here, talking about a sequel before we even talked about the film. But I did like Scorpion, Sub-Zero rivalry through line. I liked it.
And good casting.
It's relatively
Scorpion,
pacey, as in,
especially.
it's a nearly 2 hour film, 1 hour 50. I know a lot of people were complaining beforehand that that's too short for a Mortal Kombat film, and it's really not.
It really wasn't.
No. Like, why would you want a Mortal Kombat? Why would you want many films that are longer than 2 hours? To be fair, but especially a Mortal Kombat film.
Yeah, I thought it was a good length. It was quite obvious that it was the cinematic cut. It is well.
A weird pacing, as in the whole, and it might be because this is a Mortal Kombat film without Mortal Kombat.
Well, without the tournament, anyway.
Yes, without the tournament.
I mean,
isn't the tournament called Mortal Kombat?
There's definitely fights, and the action sequences are fantastic. But it is really more the groundwork telling the story of Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
It's about how Outer World is wanting to kill off all the Earth fighters before it gets to Mortal Kombat. I liked Sonya Blade's kind of bit.
Her arc, yeah.
Jimmy Olsen was pretty cool as Jax.
Oh, he was spot on. It took me I
had to Google it.
It took me a while. Yeah, I had to.
I was like, where do I recognise him from? I also recognised Kano, and it's like, where do I recognise him from? He's a pharmacist in Superstore.
Oh, you see, I've watched like one episode of that, and I thought it was.
I love it. I need to watch the final season, but I very much enjoyed it. Again, we're really getting off the.
We're not. We're talking about Kano, which of course he seems to be the person who is like grabbed the most attention. The lovely little meme doing the rounds of the actor who played Kano has had to be rushed into hospital with a bad with a back injury because he carried the rest of the movie. So
he is very good in his role.
He was excellent in his role. I think
I even liked the storyline of our hero wanting to protect his family, and I liked, because again, I don't know if this is a thing in the games. Mortal Kombat lore is not my area of speciality, but I liked how they describe the special powers. Like, obviously in a fighting game you have
weird powers.
Yeah. And I like how he says, it's your inner strength that you need to unlock if you're one of the chosen few contestants.
I like how also they explain how the chosen thing is passed on as well.
Yeah.
That
you have to kill another.
Yeah. For the vast majority, you've got to kill a champion. Yeah. Whereas obviously with our new character, he was born with it, like through bloodline. Yeah.
There's some neat fatalities.
Yeah, I quite liked how they managed to get the because obviously in the more modern Mortal Kombat games, they've become incredibly cinematic.
Yeah.
And like really wonderfully over the top kills. And they've managed to get some of those
the hat was my favourite of a lot.
Oh, because it was very computer gamey, but it worked because they'd established the hat. I think that's the thing. Like on the surface, actually, this and after watching it, it is a fine film. There is it's not a bad film by any means, but there's loads of attention to detail. Actually, look, I can see why Mortal Kombat fans actually because there are plenty out there who have really enjoyed this, who have got way more out of it than myself and James have. I think
in regards to fighting franchises, I've always been a bigger Street Fighter fan.
Yes,
not that I'm good at any fighting game. I'm okay. I quite like Soul Calibur. I'm still not good at it, but I'm passable at that one.
Well, I think when I first encountered the two big franchises, it was when Mortal Kombat was exclusive to the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a Mega Drive.
The Mortal Kombat was never exclusive, but you got the proper version of the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
The SNES version was very unbloodied.
Yeah. And I think, all right, I say exclusive, but like it may as well have been exclusive because the one that everyone wanted was on the Sega. And I didn't own one, so I never played it enough. And it was different enough that when I did play it, because I owned a version of Street Fighter 2 on the SNES, and I was in my gaming infancy, it felt too alien, and I didn't necessarily want to play it.
Yeah.
And so it was...
well, I was doing weird stuff, wasn't like... The early Mortal Kombat, they had that weird... They used, like, realness to the graphics.
Well, it was photos.
Yeah.
Because obviously at the time it wasn't like a fluid movement thing. It was loads of poses.
Yeah.
So it was like that and then, you know.
With your various multicolour ninja. Who obviously became Sub-Zero. Well, they were Sub-Zero and Scorpion, but the characters have been built up over time. I will say, Scorpion rocking up in the final like fight / act, and it's like, I have returned from hell for my vengeance. It's like, that's cool. Yeah, I'm here for that. Like, I liked Scorpion in this film.
I loved Scorpion in this film. I thought that, like, I think obviously we've said that the film wasn't too long. It was quite obviously the cinematic cut. Like, films that have been released in this pandemic period have sometimes got away with being the director's cut. Looking at you, Wonder Woman 84, where they've been a bit flabby, and they would have most certainly been cut down.
This was a tight film because, like I say, I had to pause it at one point, and I only had like 40 minutes left, and it was like, where's that time gone? Like, I thought, and again, I think part of that feeling was it felt like it was nowhere near what should be a conclusion, because the whole film does feel like a prologue. But then, and not necessarily in a negative way, but
because it's quite an old school build. Like, because they actually spend time introducing the characters, and obviously with some of them a little bit longer.
Yeah,
than others,
there is older style to it. Like,
predominantly the first hour is getting to know the characters.
Yeah,
like in fact, sometimes just even meeting them, which for modern cinema, especially modern ultra consumable cinema like this, is really rare. And so totally applaud them for taking that time and being brave with that. And I think they needed to do it, to be honest. Especially as it was a stripped down cast compared to the larger game cast that there is. We've already mentioned that Johnny Cage isn't in it. There's going to be other notable exceptions as well.
If he hadn't gone with an original character, Johnny Cage would have probably have been your main kind of audience entry point.
But I think it was a good idea to go for the
it was
character.
I like it,
because it does mean, I mean, obviously we touched on it before, like there's no tournament in this. It does mean that in the sequel, obviously they'll introduce Johnny Cage properly and maybe a few other characters as well. We can actually have a tournament. Like, it could go straight in and be, to be honest, a relatively dumb, like, high octane action film.
You don't have to build up to the tournament. You can just be like, hey, it's tournament time.
I think.
So how long till the new character? I mean, that new character is definitely going to be in the next Mortal Kombat game, isn't he? Like, that feels like a given.
You think so? Yeah. I mean, because for the time being, while Warner Brothers still have their studios, then they are owned by Warner Brothers. So you'd think. It may even be DLC for the current one.
Yeah.
Like a new character.
Yeah, because they did just release a next-gen version of it.
I mean, E3's not that far off.
No.
So, although it's a digital one, obviously, but E3 is not that far off. And if WB don't have much else to show...
they've got they've got two DC games on the one-up, haven't they?
Yeah, but they've pushed back at least one of them, haven't they?
Which one? I mean, Gotham Knights was meant to be this winter, wasn't it?
Oh, it's Gotham Knights. I'm sure that's
Oh.
been pushed. Yeah. But I mean, everything pretty much has been because of the pandemic. So
yeah.
I mean, I think it's only Ubisoft that are ahead of the game from what I'm aware of. Because
Ubisoft are working on Star Wars, aren't they?
They do have a Star Wars, yes. Yeah. But again, tangential.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for a casual viewer, it was fine. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
My wife actually, as we've pointed out, we have shot this series a little bit out of order. This is the second film we've reviewed, but it will be episode 1. We have already reviewed Street Fighter the movie, because in the UK it's coming off Amazon.
It has come now, I think.
It has come off Amazon, so we wanted to do that and get it out of the way with. Which is why when you get to episode 5 or whatever it is, I've got like a big proper homeless beard compared to this.
Hey, if I manage to convince him, you might even see him with just a moustache at some point during this series as well.
Yeah. While we go looking for stoned fruit. Yeah. So there's so spoilers for that episode. We both love that film. But my wife watched both films with me, and she actually preferred this one. And she made some decent points because I think this is closer to the lore of the game. Like it is essentially, we have some fighters. They will fight. They do fight. There is no tournament as such, but it does lead to a series of computer gamey fights.
Street Fighter is definitely a film of its era as well. Like if you were making a Street Fighter film today, it would not look or feel anything like that movie.
No, it wouldn't. Which again, we do discuss, or we will discuss timey-wimey things.
Like this feels like I know because we just talked about how there is an old school vibe to this at times, but it is a much more modern feeling film. It does feel like a more film that was I don't really know what I'm getting at.
It feels a bit more serious. Because I think that
yes,
when we do get around to watching the original Mortal Kombat film, with I think doesn't Christopher Lambert play Raiden in that one? Yeah. So which I know it's a bit of whitewashing, but I do understand the casting there because obviously at the time he was
Christopher Lambert in Mortal Lightning People. That's his thing.
Well, yeah, I mean he's Highlander, isn't he? So it was a reasonable bit of casting for the time. But there's cheese. There's some very healthy dolloping of 90s cheese in that, whereas this isn't cheesy. Not deliberately, certainly. There are some elements.
There's no real
No. Whereas the 90s one and obviously Street Fighter,
it does treat the subject matter with respect.
Full on raclette,
no, but I don't think Street Fighter treated it. I think Street Fighter treated its subject matter with respect as well. But
it does.
This film, again, as you said earlier, I get why Mortal Kombat fans went nuts for this. And as someone who isn't, I thought it was a perfectly enjoyable way to spend a couple of hours.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to be high on my list to rewatch, but I don't regret watching it. I had a good time.
At the same time, it's certainly going to be one of those films that if I've got a Friday night and it's on TV or I'm flicking through Netflix and there's nothing else I fancy and I've got a couple of beers in the fridge and some Chinese, then
if we're in the cinema era and I'd gone to the cinema to see it,
wouldn't have regretted that in the slightest.
No.
Some beautiful visuals, actually. I mean, especially like the opening sequence set in the past. Very, very beautifully shot. There are times it was quite dark, which again I think maybe seeing it on the big screen possibly would have helped. Just because it was a little on the dark side for me. maybe.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Matt, give us your best Mortal Kombat.
As in what, like?
You know, the catchphrase Mortal Kombat. Give us your best.
Oh, just saying.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. That one.
Yeah, that one.
Fair enough. Yeah, cool. While we're at it, James. Last week, which wasn't last week because it's 4 weeks from now, I asked you the question, and will ask you the question. What's your favourite first-person shooter? We'll get that answer in 5 weeks' time. But this week, I'll ask you, as we're covering fighting games, what's your favourite fighting game?
Soul Calibur, I think.
Which one?
I'm not good at fighting games, so I don't have a. Whichever one was potentially out towards the start. The one that had Vader, Yoda, and someone else in, depending on which console you bought them on.
3, I think it was.
It was the early PS3 generation one.
Yeah.
/ 360.
Yeah. I think it was Soul Calibur 3.
Yeah. That was one I probably...
I played it with you, and we both got dominated by Alio.
Oh, well, no. No. I won and got a controller thrown at my head.
Yeah, so I mean, I lost in the game.
Yeah, okay,
and
fair
you
enough.
lost in real life, yes. We both got dominated by it. Mine, I see, I suck so badly at Soul Calibur. really
I like the weapon combat in Soul Calibur. I recently actually bought it. It's on a Steam sale at the moment. I bought the latest Soul Calibur and the latest Tekken.
Oh,
yeah, I started playing Tekken and was like, yeah, I don't like Tekken. It was cheap, so I'm not that bothered that I bought it, and I'll play it with people. But it's like
I like, again, I quite like the lore of Tekken.
I think that's what I was remembering.
Yeah.
Like I had a 10-minute dabble on Tekken and a 10-minute dabble on Soul Calibur, and both games were dirt cheap in the sale.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not good. No, not to Tekken. Like, I just don't have...
you see,
it's it feels like a very technical fighter.
I think it's always felt just a bit clunky for me.
I did, however, very much enjoy Tekken Bowling.
Yeah.
That was always on the tag team games. Tekken Bowling was always fun. And Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I like Marvel vs. Capcom.
I can't remember if I've played enough Marvel vs. Capcom to actually make any statement whatsoever.
I don't dislike Mortal Kombat. I kind of like Mortal Kombat sister series much more recently anyway. The Injustice games. Yeah. I like the idea of fighting games. I just don't tend to buy them all that often because I am terrible at them.
Yeah, I mean, I think like for me, Street Fighter 2 Turbo is the version I've got.
Yeah.
Or is it Super Street Fighter 2? It's one of
I
them.
played multiple versions.
There's like 7 different versions.
Street Fighter 4 was very good as well.
Yeah. But that was
the
one
first
I had
3D Street Fighter.
But yeah, that was the one I had with my SNES.
Yeah.
So it was one of many different.
You have Virtua Fighter, the fighting game that lacks any personality outside of being early 3D visuals.
Oh yeah, that was all. Yeah.
I love that era of Sega games where they were moving into 3D and everyone was just like Virtua Fighter, Virtua Tennis, Virtua Racing.
But yeah, I think like that era of Street Fighter probably defined my enjoyment of fighting games for me.
Street Fighter would be my first fighting game, I think. Oh no, you know what I've missed? Another one. I love King of Fighters.
Oh yeah,
specifically, there's one King of Fighters, but I don't know which year, because the King of Fighters were King of Fighters 98, 97, they were like yearly games, and they were arcade games in a way. Games. Yeah. Primarily, they were arcade use, and I was on holiday somewhere, and we went.
When I say sports, I just mean that like the
and this was I was quite young at the time. It was like going on holiday with my parents, and there was this bar that had a King of Fighters cabinet. and I played it a lot, and I got the top high score. And that probably isn't that big of an achievement. I don't think there was anyone particularly good that I knocked off that top spot.
No, but
I have very fond memories of, because a lot of the King of Fighter games are on things like the NES. Are available on Switch and stuff. And I've been racking my brain trying to think like, which King of Fighter was that? Because I'd like to replay it, but I just have no idea which year it was. But I liked the because King of Fighters had a tag team system where you'd swap fighters in and out.
All right. I think controversially, my favourite fighting games are actually wrestling games.
I think they are fighting games technically.
Yeah. Although I had some great fun with the Fight Night games as well. But
I'd say with Fight Night we are stepping more towards sports games. Even though we are technically fighting, but I feel like there's a line and they tip onto the.
They do, yeah. But I remember.
Also, again, Smash Bros. Why didn't I say Smash Bros?
See, I don't remember ever playing one. I must have. I must have played one.
I don't own the latest Smash Bros. Yeah, I spent so much time playing at EGX the year before it came out. Like, we were just getting the queue for Smash Bros. On a.
That would be something you'd absolutely turn me inside out if we ever played. Like,
again, I'm not good at it, but I can.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Maybe we should all go to Smash Bros. And figure out a way to stream off Switch and do like a little Smash Bros. Tournament on the channel.
Definitely. Well, I mean, we keep saying that we'll do a Mario Kart one because, I think that would be a decent challenge. And I think, but yeah, Fight Night on this little thing was one of my favourite games ever, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. If we're going to say wrestling games count, because the year that came out, which was actually the same year that Soul Calibur that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Pain won a significant gaming magazine's fighting game of the year. I can't remember which one it was, but it was quite a big magazine, at least over here. Top fighting game.
We
Still
both
the best
liked
wrestling game ever made. So for all of you who say it was something on the N64, you're wrong.
But yeah, we both liked Mortal Kombat 21.
We did. Should we give it a score?
Nah. But what we will do is like in the age-old question that we are asking this, and I think we should ask this at the end of every episode. And I don't think we asked it at the end of the Street Fighter episode, so that one might be a blip. But so, are video games good? Are video game movies good? Actually, maybe.
Yeah. I'm going to say yes for this one.
Yeah, yes.
There is nothing that makes it a bad film. I didn't enjoy it as much as some others, but then I'm not a big Mortal Kombat fan.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
Actually, yes.
I think we're taking you to some turn of the century industrial horror next week. I
think we are. Yes. We've mentioned the name of the director.
Yes, we are going to be looking at Resident Evil. A film that really does not bear any resemblance to the video game it comes from.
Oh, I don't know. The first one isn't too far off. I mean, we'll get into this next week.
Yeah,
but it's not too far.
I've not seen it. I've not seen it since it came out on DVD.
I watched it Friday night, Saturday night.
I'm looking forward to it. I remember kind of enjoying it.
It's an excellent horror film for its time.
We're good adaptations, and I'll say it now because we didn't. We've not included it in this series. we might include them if we do a second series of this. I think there is enough video game films out there for us to do a second series.
Oh yeah.
Before we have to start looking at U-Ball films.
Well, I was going to say we've got a whole series. We've got a whole season of U-Ball films if we need them.
Yeah, but the Silent Hill films.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I nearly messaged you the other day and said, "Should we put that in?" But
not this season, but if we do a season 2, Silent Hill will definitely be coming up. So yeah, we'll see you next week in Raccoon City, maybe.
Well, underneath it, certainly.
I mean, the games are in Raccoon City. I can't remember if the film was.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Have fun, guys.
See you later. Bye.